right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks for sticking around for the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. Give us a call tonight, 412-575-2600. Susie Cole join me for tonight's show out in the studio. And we're taking your phone calls, and we're talking about the U.S. Open. What a day out at Oakmont today. I was out there all day. The best round of the day was Sam Burns with a 65, 5 under 65. I don't know, Susie, if you'll see a round like that yet. All the golfers are walking off, and the ones that I talked to said this is the hardest course they've ever played. And if you were out there, the rough, you just can't find balls there. The greens are super fast, super slick. Guys are missing short putts. I was watching Brooks Koepka on the practice green after his round where he shot, what was he, 2 over today? And what was, I forget, 4 over today. But he was putting. He was missing 3-footers. He missed like 5 out of 6 and then missed like 2 out of 4 right after that, just practicing, and he's there with his coach. And, you know, after Scotty Scheffler was 4 over today, he went to the range for about 2 hours just working on his drives. He was not as accurate as he wanted to be, but he's 4 over for the tournament. So he's still in the mix. That would put him, you know, 4 over 3, that's 7 shots back. Rory McIlroy, he's 6 over. He made a birdie putt. We just showed you the highlight on 18 that made sure and guaranteed that he made the cut this weekend. He's 9 shots back. And look, if you look at our live poll question here, sponsored by Williams Golf and Country Club, just scan that QR code that Susie pointing to, and which of these 4 golfers has the best chance to get back into contention come Sunday? Brooks Koepka, I would agree with our viewers so far, 67%. Then Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, Rory McIlroy. Brooks Koepka knows how to win U.S. Opens. He already has 2 of them.
Yeah, I'm either going with those selections, either Brooks Koepka or Rory McIlroy. But whenever you talk about the rough out there today, that was the biggest complaint that a lot of these golfers had, specifically Bryson DeChambeau. He said it was just difficult on the course, and that even gets me to think. I mean, the last 2 days, you were out there at Oakmont today. It's been disgustingly humid. Does that have anything to do with how the ball is sticking, how it's rolling, right? I just think that that course is difficult. The weather right now isn't the best in Pittsburgh. So what's it going to be like tomorrow when rain is truly in the mix?
Well, you know, I mean, that affects the golfer. It's not going to affect the balls too much. And the conditions were dry out there, and the balls are going to roll. And that's what Oakmont wanted for the high scores, because those balls will roll into that rough. And once you're in the rough, you're penalized. It's almost like a shot penalty to get out of some spots in the rough. You know, I was talking to a couple caddies that said it was tough to find balls out there, and when they found balls, there were times where golfers had to go sideways or backwards just to get out of the rough or to get into a sand trap, so they had a shot at the green. That's how hard it is, and that was the most difficult. Anyone will tell you out there, the reason Oakmont is so difficult, it's not the length, and maybe the greens are the second thing that makes it really challenging, but it's the rough right now. It's 5 inches. They're going to let it grow. It potentially could get up to 6 inches. And what's going to happen tomorrow, you heard Mary talk about rain and storms. Rained out there a little bit. They suspended play. They'll pick that play up in the morning tomorrow. But what rain and wet does is guys are going to go pin seek, right? They're going to hunt the pins, and there's a chance of birdies. The conditions are more favorable for lower scores when it's wet. Because you won't see those balls roll off the back. You won't see the balls roll out of the fairway as much. So that's what concerns someone shooting a pretty good score tomorrow. But it just depends on how much rain they get. But also, you know, on the flip side of things, the rain's going to do damage to that rough, meaning it for the golfers, it's going to be so tough getting out of the. It's going to be tougher to get out of the rough, but it's going to be easier to putt and easier to hit approach shots tomorrow.
Yeah. Richie, have you played before? That's my question.
No,
After all of that, going through all of that.
I should be a golf analyst, right? I want to be, yeah, right? We need more U.S. Opens here. There'll be one here in 8 years in, 33. So I'm excited about that. The Women's U.S. Open will be here in 27 or 28. I forget one of the years. But so we have a couple more things to cover. So we'll talk a little bit about this. Don't forget to vote. Scan that QR code. Brooks Koepka, Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, Rory McIlroy. You know, Rory McIlroy, one of the top golfers in the world, 9 shots back. And I look at some of these guys like Scheffler and McIlroy. Koepka's right in it. He's only 5 shots back. But someone like Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler, if they shoot 68 tomorrow, 67, which is doable, that's 2 under out there. And these guys are capable of doing it. But if they shoot a good score, they're right back in it. Because I believe guys like Sam Burns, Maybe not Victor Hovland, but J.J. Spawn. These guys are going to fall back to the crowd. And I think that's the biggest thing. You got guys like Adam Scott that's still in there. Ben Griffin has been playing pretty well. Like I mentioned, Brooks Koepka. Those guys know how to win. Maybe even a Jason Day. I wouldn't really count him out yet, but I wouldn't count any of these guys out either.
No, and we saw that with Rory McIlroy today, right? On that 18th hole, he got a birdie, and that's what pushed him into this next round. So I don't think that you count these guys out just yet.
All right, we're taking your phone calls tonight, 412-575-2600. The Pirates get another big win. They bounce back in Chicago, and Paul Skeens, he must have the worst run support in the majors. The guy can't get any runs to help him out, but he's one of the best pitchers. But he's only had one win in his last five starts, and that's 47-plus innings. So it's crazy. And I want to talk a little bit about the Pirates when we come back. 412-575-2600 is the number. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh along with Susie Cool taking your phone calls tonight, 412-575-2600. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night, and you can see this is from the U.S. Open, the only player in the field who competed in the '94 U.S. Open. You know, I was out there. I was a young lad, but it was a hot one out there. I remember that one. Is Phil Mickelson, the ageless wonder. Unfortunately, he made double bogey on 17 today. He had a par putt, let it go by, and then missed the next one for bogey. He made double bogey, which really put him out of it because the projected cut right now is +7. So all he had to do was really bogey, and he parred 18, and he would have been in, and he would have made the cut. You know, Mickelson has not been great out at Oakmont. He's had his struggles out there. You remember 2007, but, you know, he doesn't make it, unfortunately. I know a lot of people like Phil Mickelson. He's a fan favorite, but, you know, that double bogey on 17 really hurt him for sure. That's definite.
Yeah, no, a lot of big names not making that cut. Phil Mickelson being one of them, Bryson DeChambeau as well, along with others. But how old were you whenever you were at
I was young. I was still in school, but that's okay. I was there. I actually covered it in 2007. I remember following Tiger Woods around, and when he made that, he had a shot at making birdie. He needed a birdie on 18, and we thought he hit it close from the fairway. I remember watching, but Angel Cabrera, I think Jim Furyk in that one, if people remember that 2007 one, he had a chance to win it too, but he bogeyed 17. You know, 17 is one of those gamble holes. You can go for it, but then there's a lot of danger up there, and you could end up making, like Phil Mickelson did today, a double bogey because it's really tough. The best way to play that hole, honestly, I mean, it's the easiest hole in the golf course, but the best way to play that hole is just lay up and hit an approach shot on and try to two-putt. All right, so the Pirates, winners today, bounced back at Chicago. They won 2-1, extra innings. Not much excitement out there today. They had an infield, the fielder's choice in the 8th inning, then a sac fly in the 10th inning to win it. They need a bat. There's no question about it. They need something because you can't keep trotting Paul Skeens out there and hoping that he's only going to give up 1 run or no runs like he did today and expect to win. And this is what he only has 1 win in his last 5 starts. I understand that they won today, but you know it's tough. It's tough. 5 earned in 47 1/3 innings.
He only has 4 wins on the season in 15 starts. How many of his wins, or how many of these games has he started? And this team just has not given him run support. This team today, the Pirates, 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. So what are we doing here? I still don't understand how you get to this point. And Paul Skeens is still going out there and dealing. He's not going to do anything else. He's going to go out there and perform each and every time. But he's in a tough spot.
Susie, this is supposed to be a good week for me. The U.S. Open. I love golf. I love covering the U.S. Open. I love being out there. It's fun being on a golf course. Oakmont's one of the best golf courses in the world. I think it's ranked 3rd. In the world right now, and then you're getting me upset because I want to have Bucko fever, and then I get so mad when they they don't spend any money, and now I'm mad, So
someone will call in and call you out for having Bucko fever.
Let's go out to Chuck in Uniontown. How you doing, Chuck?
Yeah. Good evening, Rich.
Hey.
Susie. Yeah, thank you. Is Coleman Majinski in his best role with the Pirates as reliever? Also, do you think that if Donnie Kelly started from the start of the season, that the Pirates would be at least on the fringe of the playoff picture? Thanks. Bye-bye.
Chuck, I appreciate the call. I don't know if they'd be on the fringe of the playoff picture. They just don't have the bats, right? I don't know if Donnie Kelly can fix that. Maybe if you play a little of that small ball, you might have got a few more wins. Like I said before, and I've said this for the last, 10 years that I've been doing this show, that I think the manager is responsible for, 5, maybe 10 wins the entire year. So if you blame, let's just blame, for argument's sake, let's blame Derek Shelton for 10 losses. I don't really know if that really puts you in contention. Maybe it puts you around 500 because that's where Donnie Kelly is right now as the manager. So a couple games under 500, yeah, that'd be better. Kind of in contention, but still on the fringe, not better than last year, kind of hovering around where they were. The problem is, and we all know this, when we watch the Pirates, it's not the pitching. It was the bullpen. David Bednar hurt them. The bullpen struggled and hurt them. But it's the bats. They're awful with runners in scoring position. They can't score. They're one of the worst offensive teams in the majors. And look, maybe you can point to injuries, and they had their share of them. Spencer Horwitz, but maybe you can blame Ben Cherington for that, not really doing a complete workup or didn't know about the wrist at the time. Henry Davis was awful at the beginning of the year. Brian Hayes struggled. You're trotting Jared Triolo out there. Jack Sawinski. I mean, all these guys are batting 1-something. That you can't win with that. They needed another bat. They needed to go out and get someone in free agency that could hit the ball, and they failed to do that.
Richie, I think you hit the nail on your head the nail
on my head?
Yeah, on your head. Yes, no, on the head. Whenever you said Ben Cherington's name, I don't think that this is a Derek Shelton problem or a Donnie Kelly problem. Donnie Kelly's done great with what he has been given. I think that it is upper management at this point. And the pieces, I say this every single week, the pieces that they've put into place for these managers to have to put out on the field. I know that they are that last person in line that makes the decision, that makes the lineup for these games. However, they're doing what they can with what they have, and they don't have bats in this organization. The only thing this organization has is pitching, and in a few years, that pitching is going to be gone if they don't get a lineup.
Well, you also have a guy like Andrew McCutchen that's hitting above his weight right now. That's helping. Like I told you before, Henry Davis wasn't. There were some things, but I think that all kind of evens out. It's a good question, Chuck, and I appreciate it, but I still don't think they would really be in contention. They needed 1 or 2 more bats in that lineup. Let's go out to Bill in West Mifflin. How you doing, Bill?
Hey, Rich, I just want to commend you on your enthusiasm for the Buccos.
I still got it, right? The 29 and what? And I still have it.
29-43.
I think you predicted them winning the World Series this year. But anyway, they got off to a bad start, but the Pirates have always been a second-half team. And since they got Kelly in there, the bats seem to be doing well. And I think he's at 500 or a game over. And if they could do that the rest of the year, get them to 75 maybe wins. But they just need a little win streak together. And they're winning the 1-run games now. So.
Yeah, look, and they talked about that at the beginning of the year. They had to win. They had to win in those margins, and I guess they're doing that now. But I think Ben Cherington and Bob Nutting's plan is a failed plan when they think everything's going to hit and they're going to be successful. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in any sport with any team where you need everything to go perfect for you to be a competitive team. It doesn't happen. You need everyone to have career years. No one's having a career year.
No.
O'Neal Cruz maybe is having an above-average year for him, but Brian Reynolds isn't hitting the cover off the ball. So they couldn't hit, and that's the problem. And by the way, I did not predict a World Series. I want them to go to a World Series, but I thought they'd be around, the 70-some wins. And when they didn't do anything, and that first start, I'm still worried that they're not even going to be in the 60s. Maybe now if they have a better second half, and I don't think they're a second-half team. They weren't a second-half team last year. They weren't a second-half team when they fell apart in the years prior. So maybe they are a second-half team, but I don't think it's enough this year. They dug too big of a hole, and they don't have the bats to come out of it.
And that was exactly what I was going to say, is what is going to make them a second-half team? Are there going to be moves made? I'm going to say probably not. They didn't make any.
Yeah, there's going to be moves made. They're going to deal Heaney. Maybe they could deal Mitch Keller, which I think would be a mistake.
That would be.
I'd try to keep those guys. Deal like the Heaney. Maybe deal Falter. Try to get something for those guys. I don't think you can move Tommy Pham or Adam Frazier. Those are the signings that you would think they would have tried to move, but no one's going to want those guys. But they got to go out and trade for a bat. Maybe this year they can get one, trade someone to get someone that wants to, or in the offseason, overpay for someone. That's the only way the Pirates are going to get anyone. They got to overpay for someone.
See, I agree with that, but last year the whole talk was, okay, Rowdy Tellez is going to go before the trade deadline. We heard that, and then all of a sudden, once the trade deadline came...
Yeah, but Rowdy Tellez was a bum. I mean, who wants the guy? It's like, who wants Tommy Pham?
I agree, but then they didn't trade him because they thought that that was the best solution for this team. I just don't see them actually making any moves that are going to generate a bat for this lineup.
No, they're not. I don't think they can. Only one would generate a bat is Mitch Keller, and he has one win. So what's he going to bring back, right? You got to stick with them. You got to stick with these guys right now, and you're not going to trade Keller. You can't trade Jared Jones. I mean, no, you're not going to trade Skeens. You can't trade Jared Jones. You're not going to trade Bubba Chandler. I mean, you're not going to trade these guys.
You can't
they're
trade
in a position. They're in a no-win position.
Yeah, you can't trade the best part of your team. That would just be the most ridiculous thing that the Pirates could do at this point. They're not going to do that.
But you have a window. What they got to do is they got to try to make a move on a couple bats this offseason. And if you have to overpay them to get them to come here, because it seems like they can't get free agents, so you might have to overpay a couple million, that's what you have to do. I think that would win over the fans and maybe get them back in the seats. All right, we're going to take a break. Back in a couple minutes.